Hey guys, I'm out in my shop and this video is going to highlight this build where I built this sweet overhead hoist system. And what I needed this hoist system for was to get the head off my Bridgeport, because when I got this Bridgeport, it needed to have the head rebuilt on it and the motor rebuilt and all of that, and these are not that easy to get off, right? So you're not just going to manhandle this off by hand, this whole head assembly, and so I needed a hoist in order to do that, and so that's what this was. So this was a build that I had completed in April. It is now December, I think it's the 30th today. So this will be a video that goes into all that kind of went into that. I think it was a 2 or 3 day build. I can't remember exactly because it was, you know, like 8-9 months ago. I will say right off, there's some sketchy stuff that you'll see. I do some kind of not so safe things, and in particular, I had to do some overhead lifting on the ladder to get the I-beams up there. Man, I got no excuses other than that's what I saw fit doing that day. You know, by nature, I'm a dirt bike rider, ex-pro freestyle motocrosser, and not always the safest guy in the world. So do with what you see what you will. I'm not advocating for the things that I do. I know better, and then sometimes you're just at the end of the day, which is really dangerous. At the end of the day, you're just like, I don't even care, man. I'm just gonna get this done. So whatever, do with that what you will. Know that I'm totally in agreement that I could be safer. And so no way am I assuming I'm modeling good safe practice on the ladder as I'm overhead pressing some of these things up here. So anyways, hopefully it'll be entertaining. Hopefully there'll be some things that maybe will help some people learn a couple of different things. And with that, I say, have fun, enjoy it, leave some comments, and any other things that you guys can think of. Maybe I could have done something better, maybe a different idea. I'm open to any of it. So here you go, enjoy. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to build a overhead hoist system up there. First job will be, we'll use it on is to get the entire head of the Bridgeport off. And in the future, use it for lifting heavy things, not super heavy. It'll definitely be able to hold quite a bit, but I probably won't lift anything over 500 pounds with it. But sharpening lawnmower blades, you know, lifting up lawnmowers, raising, you know, motors, all sorts of different things. But it's gonna go in. So I got some work to do. I've got to remove these overhead little wood storage systems. I mean, they're super simple. Shouldn't be hard to move. And same up there, yada, yada, yada. And then we'll get the I-beams put in. So I'm gonna have 2 10-foot I-beams going across from this C channel here all the way over to this other C channel right here. So it'll be 2 10-footers going across that way, and they will be fixed, and then I'll have a 6-foot I-beam that goes this way. So 2 10-footers this way and a 6-footer this way. And this 6-footer will be able to be on trolleys that move left to right. And then there will be a trolley on the 6-footer that will be able to go front to back. And then obviously the hoist will be able to go up and down. So those are the 3 axes that we'll be working with. Haven't figured out exactly how I'm gonna do all of it. Got some pretty good ideas. But you know, the way I like to do engineering is 75% planning, 25% react to whatever situation my circumstances give me. All right, see you later. You got it unloaded yet, Gabe?
What?
Got it unloaded yet?
Nope.
You got it. In the back of the truck, there's some stuff we'll need to get out. The trolleys. Be careful, buddy. We'll have to open that tailgate. Just leave the metal down, otherwise it might get you. How's it going? Getting that rust out of there? Thank you guys for doing the prep work. Alright, got all the wood storage racks removed, open ceiling, ready to start laying some stuff out. Cut out these braces to be able to have the beam go from this C channel all the way over to that C channel, because I want the I-beam on top of the C channel. So I gotta cut 4 of these braces out. I just made a little template, measured it, cut it. There goes my pen. And I'm just drawing on these, and I'm gonna take the what's called as the bad idea doer, the Sawzall, and cut that on 4 of these. Let's see what the old Nikita can do. So here's basically the plan. This beam that's in there would represent the long 10-foot beams that are going to go this way in between these two. So I got the notches cut out, as you can see up there. All the notches cut out. So the 10-footer is going to go there. So that's what this represents right now. And basically, what this represents, this piece of metal, would be the shorter one that's going to go front to back. So I'm going to have 2 trolleys, one on the back rail, on the back beam, and one on the front beam. And that's what's going to allow that center beam to actually move back and forth, so side to side. Get that balanced again. So that'll allow my whole system to be able to move pretty much from this to that. And so I'll have plenty of room there. Okay, so how's it all gonna connect? So what I've got going on under here, if you can see, got a 1, 2, 3 block in there representing just my distance, so that I know that I got clearance between the bottom of, or in this case it will be, the bottom of my I-beam, and what I'm gonna have to build is a bracket in here. So I'm gonna pull this 1, 2, 3 block out, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put a big old plate on both sides, drill a 5/8 inch hole through, so that I can use this hardware to mount. So basically what it's gonna be, and actually this stock right here, which is 1/2 inch plate, I'm going to cut into 3 inches and drill the hole where it needs to be, the 5/8 hole, weld that on to my front to back beam, and that's how I will attach it to the trolleys that will allow me to then go side to side on my 10-foot beams. So that probably doesn't make sense without seeing it completely, but it's conceptually sound in my mind. Now time for some cutting, some welding, some drilling, and then really we're close to being done. Got the 4 blocks cut, gonna clean them up on the grinder, and then we'll get holes drilled in them, and we'll be good to go. So this is where I wish I had my Bridgeport working, and the thing that I'm building to help fix the Bridgeport is the thing that I need the Bridgeport to build most accurately. So as you can see on the hot saw, these aren't all perfectly the same length, but that's okay. What I will do is I will take, and with this little square, find out the most square edge, and that becomes my base edge. So I'll take a look at each and every one of these, you know, see which side is the most square. Then that becomes the side that from which I come up to drill my holes. I don't care about the top, because it's just going to be clearance. There's nothing going to be referenced off of it. So I'm going to find the most square side, which will be my reference side. that I'll come up from to find my hole location. And then that side is also the side that I'm going to give a much better bevel to, so that when I weld it, it's much more into this material and tying it into the base material. So anyways, that's what I'll do next. All right, perfect. So this is what I'm talking about. This will be my bottom edge. You can see how it's nice and square. Can't see any light through. Whereas if I checked this side, which is actually a nasty side, and I didn't care about it. I wasn't going to pre-cut this because it was square enough. But definitely, you can see some air right there. And if I flip it this way, it just creates some issues in the corner. But this side looks good. Gonna roll with that. Do that for every one of them. Those will be my base sides. Get a good bevel, and then reference up to where I'll describe my line for my hole location. So I've got all these set up over here. I've put the bottom down, the most square side down, so I can just pick these up, take them over to the grinder, and put the bevel on them. Got the old worn out grinder, so I gotta give it the pre-spin. She eventually gets up to speed. So basically, it's a decent bevel. It could be bigger, but this will work. Root pass, and then we'll build it up. So got a bevel put on all of them. I think this is big enough. One of the things to keep in mind is that when you're going to use something for structural purposes, you can't just make like a butt joint like this and just, you know, think that you're just gonna be able to weld along this and it's going to be super strong. It'll be fair in most instances, but a good bevel like this is really going to help you tie in this material to the base material, because you've got a nice little root gap there, and that's really going to give you more surface area of this to tie to that. So the other thing is even though this little stuff right here will melt once we get welding, I want to make that all clean. I don't want any air when I make these surfaces. I want it to be as clean as possible. So I'm gonna make sure that that's all clean. Once that's done, I'm ready to start polishing, not polishing, but just cleaning the surface of the I-beam that I'm gonna weld these to, get those locations marked out. But then also, before I weld them, obviously I'm going to mark up from this to get the whole locations put and drilled in all of these before we weld them on. This one's rough still, and then this one's nice and smooth. And I'm doing that with my little Scotch Brite wheel. You could do it with a file or anything else, but that's what I'm currently using. So I'll show you real quick. I'll stay right here. Doesn't take much at all. But I don't want any burrs left on it. Looks pretty good. So that's the finished product. Nice and smooth. That'll weld up nicely. So I'm gonna put a little bit of Dicom on this. I could do it without it, but it'll make it a little bit easier for me to mark that location. So just give me a quick little paint job of some blue Dicom, and then let that dry for a second. And then whenever I put this down there, and then I'm just gonna put the bolt through the hole down there where it looks kind of centered, And I'm just going to give it a couple good swirlies, and should be able to cut basically a circle in the dicom and mark it, and then I'll know about basically where the center of this goes. And all I really care about is height, because I'm going to center it in this, but I want to know how high up I've got to go to put this so that everything clears with what I got going on down there. So, all right, so here's the circle. So basically I was able to put that in where I kind of thought it should go, and then give it a couple little swirls like that. And that's going to allow me to be able to now say, all right, up from this surface here to here, the center of that circle needs to be roughly, looks like 1 3/8 inches or so. So I'll make sure that I put, you know, I'm not going to scribe it right now. I'm going to get this better, but roughly 1 3/8 inches up from this surface, and then I'll center it 1 inch 986 divided by 2, give me how much to go off the side to center, and then I'll have a crosshair to be able to start drilling. Alright, so scribe the line 0.9935 off of one side to get it centered, and you can see that I was 1 3/8 inches up from that surface. So get down here and I'll show you kind of how it looks down here. So when I put that in there, do you see how, can you see the crosshairs a little bit? Let me see, let's get closer in there. It's kind of hard, isn't it? But the basic idea is whenever I drill that hole in there, that's going to be centered up inside there. So that'll look pretty good. .9935 off the side. Scribe my line. Should let my dicom dry a little more. There we go. Ah! Don't want to breathe this dicom too much. Make you feel real nice. Set it to 1 inch, 375, and then we'll come up from the bottom. 374, 5. Ooh. 1 thou in our business here isn't going to mean anything, but why not do it right? So now I'm going to scribe it 1 inch, 375 from the bottom. And these are kind of, it's kind of hard on your calipers to do this, so do what you want. I wish I had a height gauge, because I would definitely be doing this with a height gauge, but calipers are just fine. But do know that you are taking life off the tips. Alright, so you should be able to see each of those have a little crosshair, and that's where I'm going to drill the hole on each and every one of those. Alright, so I would love to be able to do this on my Bridgeport, but the whole point of this thing is that my Bridgeport is broken. So, with that said, I got this little sweet little table, actually, on my drill press. I clamped this vise up here, made sure it was square, you know, all that good stuff. Squared it up close enough. Now I'm ready to start putting the hole in each one of these blocks. And the cool thing is with this, being able to have this little cross slide table, is you can kind of move stuff real small increments. Had to build this little extension handle on it to be able to crank it, otherwise it would have hit the base of the drill. But anyways, Once I get this set up, I'm going to center drill it and then progressively open it up until I get a 5/8 inch hole. And one other thing I'll probably add is just a little stop on the side so that I can just throw each and every one of the next blocks up and it's in the exact same spot. No problem. Go for it. We're good. So that's what I'm going to do next. Back up. All right, we're gonna give it a go. I think everything's ready. Looks pretty centered to me. Nothing's flying off. Got a little run out in my drill press, but it'll work. As long as we don't get too crazy with it, should be able to put a nice little hole here. And you know, the key is to not break off your center drill into your part, because when you do that, whew, that makes for a very long day. Not any fun. So I'll get this center drilled and we'll come right back. So I'm gonna do a 1/4 inch hole, step it up to a 3/8, then I'll do a 1/2 inch, and then see if I can jump from 1/2 inch to a 5/8. About to break through. You always gotta be careful when you're breaking through. This thing will grab and throw stuff all over the place. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Good 1/4 inch hole. Then we'll start with 3/8. One of the problems I have is whenever I do my center drill, it has to be close because of the stroke of my drill press. And then I gotta drop the table down for 1/2 inch and 5/8 because I don't have any super short ones. So that's gonna be what that is, but that's okay. So I got 2 of them drilled with 3/8 holes. I'm starting my 3rd one. Couple of things. I learned a lot from my days as a machinist in the aerospace industry. I loved it. Learned so much from one of my friends. He's an older man named Took. He's just an amazing machinist, and we used to run Bridgeport side by side, and I loved it. Learned so much from him. A couple of things, you know, that I think about when I'm doing this kind of work. We think repeatability, accuracy. Like, take a look here. So I line up my tools. Now, if I was doing a little more serious job, I'd have this a little bit nicer. Like, look over there. See, like, those tools are lined up for another job, working on my motorcycle. So I like stuff clean and organized. But you know, whenever you have your stuff in an order, so going from, you know, having my center drill to my 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, then I'll have the 5/8 in a little bit, you're less likely to make a mistake and grab the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. And so I like to think about repeatability. You know, we used to have like reams set in order, taps set in order, all of that stuff, and all of it makes your job a lot easier to keep it straight and keep it accurate. So instead of doing a stop, I just use the edge of this machinist square. But every time I take a part out, I'm going to clean the surface down here and make sure that everything is still good and locating correctly, because if you get a chip underneath and it holds your part up just a little bit, then that means that your hole is not going to be parallel to the surface. It's going, I mean, not perpendicular to the surface, it's going to be off a little bit, and you don't want that. So just those small little things that make things really repeatable, clean, accurate. You won't be fighting yourself. So I put that against there, then I'm going to snug it up. I know the location's good, so I'm going to drop my square, but then I'm going to hold pressure right where it's at, loosen my jaws, and re-snug my jaws. Those little things like that can help you keep from chasing stuff, because if you went and just cranked on your jaws but it pushed it up a little bit, then once again your hole is not going to be perfectly perpendicular to the surface. So re-clamping it is just another way to make sure that everything is nice and flat, square, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to do the 3/8, put a little bit of WD-40 on it. One thing to keep in mind, when it starts to kind of chatter, that means you're not giving it enough pressure. Either it's going too fast or you're not giving enough pressure. So feed and speed. So it's chattered a little bit, but dig into it, let it eat. And let it come up for air though. Give a little more oil. Oh yeah, that feels good. Sounds good, looks good, is good. Break the chips a little bit better, but that's okay. About to go through, nice and gentle. Woo woo. Watch your eyes. Take a look at that hole. And we'll step it up to a 1/2 inch here in just a second. So I had to lower the table because my drill press doesn't have enough stroke. When I'm center drilling, it wouldn't be able to go down far enough, and I need at least the first 3 drills to all be right on line. So when you center drill, you don't want to move locations after you've center drilled if you can help it. So I drilled all 3 of the first holes, the 1/4 inch, or the center drill, 1/4 inch, and then 3/8 all in line. And now I'm lowered the table because I'm going to have to put a 1/2 inch and then a 5/8 in just a second. Now I've got it where I can get those in, and that'll work. But you know, how do you keep alignment? Well, a couple of things. I put the 3/8, left the 3/8 back in there so that it can follow that hole. And the beauty of drills, see it's moving just a little bit. So I'm actually going to tighten my table down so that it makes sure it's in the exact same right spot, wherever it's going to be. And now see it's deflecting a little bit. So I'm just going to use my cross slide to move it a little bit so it's not deflecting. But you got to spin it because it could give you some false readings. And that feels pretty good. Maybe just a tad an X. So it's still wanting to just a touch in Y. The fun thing about drills is that they will follow the hole, but you don't want it to be so far off that it has problems following the hole. An end mill will not follow the hole. It makes new holes, which is nice if you're trying to change the location of a hole, because you can move off 1/2 a hole and cut a new hole. A drill will not do that. It'll try to follow the old hole. So I've got it where it's deflecting very minimally. Still seeing just a little bit, which I'm not super excited about. And this is another thing that I wish I had the Bridgeport for. I'd indicate that stuff in, but I could do it, but I'm not really super concerned about it. The point I'm trying to get at it is that you can put the drill bit in there, and that's basically the location. There's a little bit of deflection as it enters, but not much. So I know that when I put my bigger drills in, it's going to follow the same hole. So we'll do that now. Everything should be tight. Everything should be good, and we are ready to eat. So those 3 drills are done. I will not need them. Oh, don't drop your good drills. Another thing, good drills are super important. These are Clee lines. I really like them. You can get some black oxides are fine. High speed steel is what this center drill is. Not so hot, but it'll work. Carbide's better. Depends on what you're cutting. All right, so I'm gonna cut with the 0.5, which is 1/2 inch first. And then we'll do 5/8. And another thing, when you rotate the chuck, you should tighten in different places. You shouldn't tighten everything on the one side and one hole of the chuck. And that helps your chuck clamp evenly, and also helps you keep everything centered. All right, that's good. So it wants to chatter a little bit with this bigger drill, but you just got to give it a little pressure and keep it engaged. So you'll hear it, and then I'll push through it. One of the things with chatter is you can cut it out, but if you just gently try to fight it, it just makes more. So there we go. Keep oil in it. Keep nice pressure on it. That sounds and feels good. When I say feel, I don't have to push super hard. And there we go. Broke through. And it's got a good hole. Take a look at that. The surface finish on that hole is pretty good. If you see dry chips coming out, really hot dry chips, and it's really hard to push down on the handle, that means you need more oil when you're cutting metal. So I'm gonna cut with the 5/8 now. Should be good to be able to step up from 1/2 inch to 5/8, so it's going 0.5 to 0.625. Everything's good. And pre-lube my drill a little bit, and we should be good. So like I said, making sure plenty of oil. Otherwise, when you see hot, dry chips coming up, they'll be crumbly looking, and it'll really wreck the surface finish of your hole as well. And I could slow this down, but I don't really care. This will be fine for us. Plenty of oil. It's gonna chatter at first, but we'll push through it. Hard to fight chatter on, because if I push hard enough then it stalls the motor out, but that's okay. Do the best we can. So there's the test with all the good ends down. The bolt comes out nicely. So the idea is that all of those line up. So it's looking pretty good. That's basically what we're looking for, and so I'll put the second one. It's kind of hard to do this one-handed, trying to film too. But get in there, little guy. Basic idea. Here, you want to hold that? Perfect. Then I can show what I'm talking about. I got this all too far forward for just the testing. Let me scoot it back, more centered on the beam. So, anyways, that's kind of the idea. Oh, what are you filming? Lower it just a little bit so you can kind of see how those holes line up, like that. Now it's all just kind of sitting there, but that's the idea. It's going through there. So, anyhow, next step will be to actually take these off, and we'll weld these up so they look good, and then that's where that little eyelet is going to fit through the middle of those. We'll be in good shape. Alright, so we already got that side done. It's okay. But what I'm doing is I put a bolt through both pieces here. That way it keeps the holes in alignment. And then I'm using these toe clamps because they're 1.25 inches wide, and that's what I need for clearance for this. So when this goes in like that, I'll have plenty of clearance for that little eyelet. So I'm gonna tack up this side, and then I will actually, I learned from the other one that I can get in there okay with my gun. So I'm gonna tack it all up, take these and make sure they're still free, and then I'll start actually welding everything up for final fit. So here we go. See, that's already wanting to fall apart. This opening up too much. So that tells me I need to close this and then tack the inside. So the bottom one won't move, so I can take it out. And I'm going to try to hold those together while I get a little tack on the inside. And that'll pull it, that'll pull the top. Squeeze it while it cools. Nice. Do the other side. Left-handed. Squeeze it while it cools. Nice. Okay. That's pretty good. Give me fresh tip. And I'm gonna hit and start laying down some beads, but trying to evenly suck it in so it stays closed on this, which we should do fairly well on. So I'm gonna go at it. That's tight. Can't get my toe clamp back. So I'm going to do the other side on the outside. Be wearing sleeves because I'm getting a sunburn already. I can feel it. Still fits, but it's tight. That's perfect. Alright. Finish this outside on this side. Oh, I'm gonna run through my toe. a look at it. It's really hot. Let me see. So, I think that'll work. It's really hot, but hey, look, the bolt still moves. The toe clamp is snug. I can pull it out now. Looks good. Okay, so it's still super hot, but I'll show you what it's for. Like that. You want to hold the camera? Don't flip it, because it'll go upside down. Alright, see inside there where the holes are? Can you see the holes? Oh, that bolt's so hot. Shouldn't touch it without gloves. So now, put this bolt through. Boom. And that's what we need. So, it'll all hold up like that. So this trolley will ride on the cross, so will that one. And this will be the one that will have another one on it that'll move this way. So anyhow, I think it turned out pretty well. So where we stand is I'm ready to put up the 10-footers, but the problem is I don't think that I can get 10 feet up there, because if it's long, there's not much wiggle room between the top of the C channel and the ceiling, which means if it's too long, it's going to be impossible to wiggle in there and slide it and then slide that one up over that C channel. So I've got to cut them. There's my camera girl. Don't do what I do. This is unsafe. And I'm still not sure that I've got this figured out yet. So tune in a moment. Got the first one up, and it really just took raw horsepower. So stay back, 'cause I am dangerous. Breaking every safety rule known to man. So do not do this. Do not duplicate my efforts. It's crazy. This stuff is heavy, and it's overhead. It's super sketchy, and I think I put my ladder kind of in the wrong spot. But such is life. So let's see if I can't do some more dangerous stuff. Kind of just have to commit at a certain point. Luckily the Bridgeport's right there. I can rest part of it on it if I have to. You have to be strong as an ox. And down as well. Alright, that's the bottom. Ladder's pretty secure. Ready for a press. Here we go. Don't do this at home, like I said. Probably this is crazy. Have to widen this up a little. The trolley doesn't want to go through. the sawzall. Cut that open. Put that. So then that will go up here. Slide over there. So something like that. Shoot. We're back here doing more wonderful things, some of which are very dangerous, like overhead sawzawing. I'm gonna put this trolley up here now. Hopefully it fits, and it does. I can't remember which way it goes to tighten it. Maybe this way. Is that getting better? Seems to be. There we go. Okay. So that one's just a tiny bit off. Clears, doesn't clear. So, sawzall time. Up the ladder. Can't see, my glasses are fogged up. Let's go. I was all about straight lines earlier. I don't even care. Not a care in the world. Cut it. Baby, give me a little vibration. Oh, and it doesn't fit. Dang it. It gets super sketchy. Don't even care. Quit caring earlier. I used to care. Get out of there. Gonna have to do some more cutting on that side. We can do it. So close. Try again. All right.
Bingo!
Come back. Sweet. And the other side. Actually, this little half inch will be perfect for getting the lining over there because it doesn't have to be quite the perfect fit. So,
I did the right thing, maybe?
yeah, that'll help me out. So we're going to move this a little bit and then try to lift this up while we tighten the strap in. Yes.
Oh, that other strap just came out.
Huh?
The
Oh,
other
it's okay. It's got a bolt in it.
Okay.
Okay, so that's actually pretty sweet. Dang. Look at that. As if I put it together while I built it. Oh, that's sick. Nice. Thanks to Jazz, my camera girl for the day. We got this pretty much done. All right, so still some work left to do. I'm going to obviously take this down because that's super sketchy. Bad idea. I was desperate. I repent. Trying to get those beams up, and I just had to manpower it. But that will be my hoist eventually, and it's going to go on that middle one right there. So, a couple things left to do. As you can see, there's a little bit of overhang right there, and that's good. I've got to figure out a way to, you know, I think I'm going to have to weld it in place once I get everything right. I think I'm going to tack it all together. And that will just keep it from sliding and rotating. That's the biggest issue. The other thing is, right now, I've got to figure out a good way to tie these two trolleys together. Let me show you. So I got this strap hooked up right now. And as I pull, it'll come, but it starts to bind a little because you can see a little twisting. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. Now I know I'm pulling only on one side, and but that doesn't matter because wherever the hoist is, that's gonna be the point. That's gonna be kind of like the fulcrum. So I don't know if I just get like a long piece of all thread and tie those together. I don't know. I gotta think through that a little bit. It's not a huge deal, but it is a little bit questionable. So let me see the full stroke of this thing. So it should come all the way back here. It stops there, which is pretty sweet because I'm a good ways away from the Bridgeport. So, hey, you want to take this and pull it over there? So we'll be able to have a hoist in the middle on it. So that'll help us move that way. Stop before you get to that light. I gotta take that light out. And then we'll have the hoist that can move in and out. So we'll go side to side, and then we'll go in and out with another trolley that will be on that middle beam. So it's been all day. It is, what time is it? Did we say 6:30? Even my watch is tired. It's done. I'm done. Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Pretty much a one-day build. Got a couple things left to do, and then we're good. So this little trolley right there will be the one in the middle, and then that hoist will be what will be hooked up to it. So I got a couple things to work out. See ya. So we got it finished up, except for attaching the hoist. Give it a whirl. Take it from one side to the other. So I got some stops up there. Welded up some stops to make sure it doesn't come off on the bridge beam. And then I tack welded the cross beams up to the C channel. So come all the way towards me.
I can't.
Is it bound up? There you go. And there you go. Now go the other way. Oh, I gotta take the ground clamp off, so. Perfect. Thank you. So I'm finished with the hoist itself. It came with these kind of dinky brackets that I don't really know. I guess it's supposed to slide on a piece of channel or something. But it won't really work for my setup, so I fabbed up this jewel. So got some nice thick steel welded to some good strong square tubing, drilled and tapped that for 1/2-13 to hold it to this bracket. Now I know drilling a hole in this compromises a little bit of its integrity, but I don't think we're in trouble in this case here. And it's on the back side. That's the actual where the line of force will be. Don't think we're gonna have too much trouble with it, but I do plan later to probably come back and actually rebuild this But honestly, I never plan to lift more than 400 or 500 pounds with it, and I don't think I'm gonna have any trouble with it. So, got this little doodah ready to go, ready to mount it up and see how it performs. Go for it.
So much fun. Now go backwards.
All right, we're not trying to make the stops come off.
Oops.
All right, we're gonna test it. Super lightweight, and it, it looks more precarious than it is. I intentionally put that bracket off center, more in line, and I may rebuild this. This is something I did in about an hour, so I think structurally it's perfectly good. It just looks a little bit funny, but let's see what it does. All right, so whenever I go up, see it rights itself a little bit, but I mean, that's nothing. Now we're swinging at Bridgeport level. Don't want to hit my toe box. Sweet. I gotta get another deal to, I don't know, we'll see. I may hold on to something else. That hauls. Stop running into the Bridgeport. All right, you get the idea. Let's lower her down. See ya. Works great. I'm happy with it. Good job, Cleo. Wake up, big girl. Hoping this has got enough stroke. Gonna be close.
Wait, how did those move?
I just kind of hard to talk and explain things right now. Give me a second. I'm gonna figure this out. I need like 4 hands right now. I think I need to go down a little. It works though. We got it up there. Got the bolts through. So excited about that. Where's the other one? Did you just pick it up? Don't think that's part of it. Now I just gotta find where the hardware is. We'll get it though. No, that's okay. I just want to put something in here and hold it in place. Then I'll find where the actual hardware is. But that's good. All right, the hoist worked.
Let's see.
A little bit. Before it would not take. Oh, this would have blown up on me. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I know that's a simple thing, but that would have been so hard before. All right, Gabe. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm gonna make some more in the future. This is my curiosity shop. So there's all kinds of fun things that I plan to shoot video of in the future. This is one of the first videos about things in my shop. Some of the things that I'll be posting about are dirt bike related, maybe some riding tips, maybe some working on dirt bike tips. You know, in June before the Loretta Lynn Regional at Freestone, the night before this motor was completely apart on my workbench, just completely disassembled, and that was a good time. So maybe we'll do some stuff like that. Some other crazy build projects, including knife building. I love to build knives, and so I think some of my my channel content will be along those lines. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see ya.